Welcome back, Attack. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 most expensive free-to-play games. These are free-to-play games that tend to have pretty expensive monetization schemes, expensive items individually, especially compared to, other games within the genre. Now, while this is sort of a negative list, I'm not saying that these games are bad, and in fact, I think every single game on this list is worth at least trying. But this might be a reason why you might want to stay away from them. So, with that in mind, let's get into the list. So, first on the list we have Runescape, and I wanted to put Runescape on the list because it's claiming to be the biggest free-to-play MMO, and it is a really cool free-to-play game, I guess, but truly, can we even call it free-to-play because most of the game, the actual true essence of Runescape is hidden behind a paywall, so if you want to actually play Runescape, you really can't. I mean, you can demo Runescape, that's really what I would call the free-to-play version of Runescape. You can demo it, but to actually play Runescape, you do need a sub fee, so if it's going to claim to be a free-to-play game, that truthfully, we have to call it out on its shit and say that it's one really expensive free-to-play game. So number 9, we have Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is a free-to-play game, and unlike RuneScape, you can't actually get to endgame. You do actually have the full story content that you can play through. You're just so severely limited, okay? Like, I guess you can get to the end, but the game is really just so linear as a free-to-play player. I mean, you don't even get guilds, you don't even get customer support unless you are a subscriber. Not only that, but Star Wars: The Old Republic actually has 3 different levels of accounts. You have subscribers, and then you have preferred accounts. Preferred accounts is anybody that spent any amount of money, I think it's like $5 at least, and you become a preferred account, you get a couple of bonuses. And then you have the free-to-play account, which essentially all you are guaranteed is the complete story content. Other than that, you don't get all of the races. Like I said, you don't even get customer freaking support. Absolutely, one of the most expensive free-to-play games. Next up on our list we have Arcade, which is a pseudo-theme park and also a pseudo-sandbox title. So it starts out kind of similar to World of Warcraft, but you can create your own classes. There is a big, expansive world to explore. Not only that, but you can actually make your houses in detail wherever you want, basically. You can even make freaking ships. So Arcade overall, I think it's a really awesome idea, but whenever it came over to the West, the publisher that is publishing Arcade over here is not doing so well with its monetization scheme. Pretty much on all points, it is overall a quite expensive cash shop. Also very limiting since it is a game about farming and building things, and then you're actually limited by labor points. So unless you spend money, even if you grind and play 24/7, you literally aren't going to be better than somebody who pays money. But at number 7, we actually have an arena shooter, which is Tribes Ascend, and the reason why it's so high on the list is because this was supposed to be a competitive game, and in competitive games, you really don't want players to have to grind forever and ever just to get the bare bones of your game. In order to actually get the competitive loadout slots or even just the class unlocks for Tribes Ascend, it just seriously took far too long. And in the end, that actually really killed the game. So it's a little bit different in games that have a plethora of characters, but when you have such a limited loadout selection and then such limited classes, really you would expect to be able to get this stuff pretty quickly, but in the end, that wasn't true. And so if you wanted to be competitively viable or really actually have fun in pubs, you would have to spend money, and these items weren't cheap at all. Now at number 6, we have Heroes of the Storm. Now this one is so expensive probably because Blizzard thinks it can get away with people falling in love with the charm of its characters, which is not as unique as League of Legends, that's true, it's pulling from its other games, but that's kind of the point. Maybe you really love the character Diablo from Diablo. Of course, you're going to go play Heroes of the Storm, and you are probably going to drop money to purchase and play Diablo. These characters range from something like $6, and sometimes they do go on sale, but most new characters are $10, where in League of Legends, it's around $7, which will net you a character if you spend $10, and then you have a little bit of leftover money, maybe for a ward skin or a character skin even if it goes on sale. So, and of course, considering Dota 2, which gives you like free cosmetics all the time and then free characters, obviously, it's a little bit expensive. Though, to redeem it a little bit, Heroes of the Storm does give you a couple of free skins. You get a couple of different free chroma packs as well with that. And in Heroes of the Storm, you don't have to worry about grinding up for masteries and rune pages, unlike League of Legends. So, honestly, it was a little bit stiff competition there, but Heroes of the Storm went out just because it's a game based on characters, and with the game that has the most expensive character unlocks, yeah, it's going to make it on the most expensive free-to-play games list. At number 5, we have one of my personal favorite free-to-play shooters, and that's going to be Blacklight Retribution. Now, Blacklight Retribution, still to this day, has some of the deepest customization for your character and for your particular weapons. Seriously, you can change around the scopes, the different types of magazines, the ammunition that you use in it, the different kind of rifling. It's seriously in-depth. Not just with the guns either. You can change around your character, your actual armor pieces, and all that good stuff. So, freaking fantastic gameplay all in all. Love Blacklight Retribution, but this one fatal flaw, because of Perfect World, the publisher of Blacklight Retribution, it basically essentially ruined the entire game. See, all this customization costs so much money that you have to actually spend money to really even truly play the game. Otherwise, you are just completely and entirely gimped from the experience. So Blacklight, that's why you're halfway on the list. Now, number 4 on our list, we have Ghost Recon Phantoms, and very similar to other shooters on our list, just like Blacklight Retribution and Tribes Ascend, this is quite an expensive game to actually unlock the loadouts, and in these shooters which focus on loadouts, you really don't want these items to be so expensive, but in Ghost Recon, even the cosmetics are just absurdly expensive. Getting just the base equipment is incredibly expensive. I really don't even have any sort of specific reason why they want to do this, why their monetization scheme is like this. It's just purely so much money to actually purchase these items. Just hands down, probably the most expensive pure arena, supposedly competitive shooter. Anyways, we can see why it's not truly competitive, can't we, guys? Okay, number 3 is Warframe, and it's pretty obvious why this is, okay? Some of these characters are just absurdly expensive, just purely big numbers, takes a lot of money. Especially if you want the prime versions of these characters, which are technically actually better. Like, you are actually better. I mean, it's very slight, but still, a little bit of pay to win there. But Warframe, it wasn't really supposed to ever be a competitive game. It's really based on grinding. So in a way, it kind of makes the grind worth it, right? So I guess it's a little bit controversial to put it on this list. It's just that type of game, but still, it's a free-to-play game, and if you want to experience it quickly, without much grinding or stress, it's expensive. Now, number 2, we have Planetside 2, and the reason I put this here is because, yes, I know you technically can pretty much earn everything in the game with in-game points, but however, there are some things that you cannot earn. You actually literally can buy items in this game only with money. So if you do that with the station cash, if you do this, then you actually are a little bit more flexible with your characters. These items can actually transfer from different classes and can even be used between the different factions. So yeah, you're a little bit of a better player. It's a little bit pay to win. Now, not only that, but the game is so grind-oriented that you don't actually start to really get into the game with the customization of your different characters, as we see with so many different shooters, but also the different customizations with your different vehicles. I mean, just trying to earn all the points to actually have a fully functional playing experience is just unheard of, and so for that reason, to actually have a true experience, you kind of need to spend money, and that's why it's expensive. And while maybe technically it's not pay to win, it sure is going to feel like that for the first 300 hours of your playtime. And number 1's World of Tanks. This is probably the most blatant, almost pay-to-win game that I've ever seen. I personally actually think it is pay-to-win. Though technically, whenever you do watch these competitions, it is actually truly fully competitive game. But when you do watch these competitions, everyone already has basically everything unlocked and all that good stuff. So I guess if you consider that if everyone's spending money and paying to win, then it's actually fair, I guess. But for the casual player, which I know World of Tanks maybe doesn't appeal to, but World of Tanks as a casual player is really freaking expensive or just so grindy that there's essentially almost no point into trying to actually play the game with a proper timeline. I mean, you need so many hours into this game just to unlock these different vehicles, and there's so many different vehicles to learn and understand. Like, this game is so grindy, not just in the sense that you have to unlock everything, but then learning those things and then equipping them, because all of these different vehicles have all these different little tunings and things that you can equip onto them, different engines, different kind of ammunitions, and of course, that's all without speaking about golden ammunition, which is overall just better and can only be bought with money. I think it might have changed recently, but either way, World of Tanks historically has been a very expensive game, and only now is it kind of changing a little bit, I do believe. You hardcore players are going to have to tell me in the comments below exactly if it's still pay to win or not, but regardless if it's pay to win or not, it is still incredibly an expensive game. Now, that was our top 10 most expensive free-to-play games, and if you have any negative experiences with the monetization or the cash ops of other free-to-play games, let us know in the comments below, if there's any that we missed here. Remember to like and subscribe so that you can stay notified of all these cool top 10s that we got, and we're going to throw at your faces here and other gaming goodness, like first impressions, stuffs, yeah. And please, come back, Attack. Thanks for watching. Be excited for the next video, and we will be excited to see you there. Welcome back, Attack. Today, we're going to be talking about the top 10 free-to-play MMOs for this year, for 2015. And I think across all the genres for free-to-plays, we've seen so much innovation in MOBAs, in MMOs, in card games. We've seen so many new things this past year, and hopefully, maybe, probably so, 2015 is going to be just as exciting.